Hello and welcome to the Online Trainers Podcast, where we go behind the scenes to uncover the latest tactics and strategies top trainers around the world are using to get more clients, dominate their marketplace, and get their clients amazing results. There is absolutely no fluff here. I'm your host, Lynn Trin. Hello and welcome to episode number 28 on the Online Trainers Podcast. Today's topic is finding the HPT. Now, you're probably wondering, Lynn, what's a HPT? Sounds like something I need to know about, right? The HPT is simply the highest performing task inside your personal training business. Just like if you go into the gym, you're probably wondering, is a forearm exercise better for burning calories, or is a squat or a deadlift better for burning calories? It's very, very much similar. And for a long time, I was stuck because I was constantly doing, right? And when we start out doing, it's kind of fun because we're learning. We don't have a lot of money to spend. We don't want to spend money on graphics design. We don't have money to spend on Facebook ads or WordPress. And so we constantly do everything ourselves. We're going in the gym, we're working out all the exercises. But once you have the framework of everything, and the first thing, especially when you're building your online personal training business, right, and you want to build legacy, the first thing is you need a product or a service to sell. You know, I say this to so many personal trainers, and if you've been listening to this podcast, which I know some of you have, which is fantastic, then you know that I'm all about finding that product or service that you can sell to a particular niche, to a particular micro niche, that you should be niching down and going into female vegan bodybuilding. If that's you and that's what you're passionate about, you should go into that field and create a product and a service for it. Okay, and why I say product and service, and I'll go and elaborate on this in another podcast episode, but really you have a look at Apple, you have a look at airplanes, you have a look at any successful business, and they're going to have something premium, something high end, something middle end, something low end. They've got economy, business class, first class, and obviously the cockpit, but that's not for sale, right? So if you go inside your business, most personal trainers sell themselves. They sell the cockpit service, they sell the one-to-one stuff. I want you to think about, okay, if we're going to use that analogy with female vegan bodybuilders, what products or services, what online courses can you create to help these women understand hormones, understand training, understand carbs, understand their macronutrients, understand what to do, understand what not to do, right? And can you package that inside a course? Because then that becomes almost your business class, and then your first class becomes working with your one-on-one. I'll go inside that in another podcast, but the main reasons why I'm talking about this today is I want you to find out the key performing indicators inside your business and find the highest performing task that you need to do, okay? And for any personal trainer starting out to build their online business, you need to find and create a product and service, okay? Whether that's a transformation package with you, that's a product, okay? But what other products and services can you create? And I just generally say this, create one, okay, sell it, prove to yourself that you can sell it 50 times. Okay, so if I create this ultimate transformation program with Lynn, and I work with corporate males and I focus purely on getting them strong, for the guys that come inside the gym during lunchtime and they come to work with me to get strong, right? Can I create some sort of a 16-week program, 12-week program, 6-month program, and maybe I'll sell it for $1,000. So that's kind of my niche market. Now, for me, and this was the dabbling mindset, because I used to think this, I thought, okay, and why a lot of people think this, it's because it's too hard to do what you're currently doing, so you'll deviate elsewhere. And for me, it was kind of like, well, I can't sell so many of these $1,500 packages. Why don't I open up a membership site for $20 a month and sell that? Then you open a membership site for $20 a month and you get 10 sales, and then it's hard to do that and you don't have much traction. Now you're making $200 a month, but you have to continually put out all this content out there. So you're like, okay, why don't I create this ebook and then just sell it for $9 an ebook? And so you start to dabble around because you actually haven't gone all in on that one product. And I tell this because it was from my own experience where I didn't go all in. I dabbled around and I never got anywhere. So the first thing is create a high priced item, some sort of transformation program that you can target towards your micro niche. And I say micro niche because when you're starting out, if you're a new trainer, if you want to penetrate deeper, if you want to be that big fish inside a small pond and get more clients sooner, faster, better, then you need to micro niche down. Because the online space, there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of people as well. So you need to find your small segment of the area. Of course, that's not to say you don't have to niche down, but then that means you just have to become someone like Kayla Isnt and build brand equity for about 10 years prior to that, and then hope that you get the momentum. And so there's very few people that have been able to do that in comparison to how many personal trainers there are. And my job here is to help the little guy succeed. Okay, so find your micro niche, create a product and service. So if we look at the highest performing task for your product and service, how can you create that quickly? How can you market that quickly? How can you sell that effectively? So that's the things that you should be focusing on. And why I say that is I want you to do a full overhaul of your tasks every single day. Because if you haven't made $50,000 through your online services, if you haven't made $100,000 in that year, what I want you to do is put everything aside. Stop the blogs, stop the YouTube videos, stop the content. The content's good. Okay, but it's secondary to your income, your cash flow, because at the end of the day, you are running a business, and business equals cash flow, right? Business is a means to fund your life, to go and do the things that you want to do, right? You got into business because you want to make more money, so you can buy all the nice things, you can go to all the nice places, you can enjoy all the nice meals with your friends and family. You didn't get into business to work more or put out more content. That then becomes a side trajectory of your passion. And I think a lot of people are starting to get this mixed up. I do talk about finding your passion and your business because that just helps you get pulled in further and deeper. And now when you create content, you have a reason to create content. Just like I'm doing this podcast today, I've got a massive, massive reason. All right, my why is so strong, and my vision and my passion has got to do with strategy. It's got to do with business strategy. I love personal development and growing personally inside my mind and mindset growth, but also I love physical activity and fitness. So I've been able to combine those three passions of mine and do something like this. And I want you to find that passion of yours and do it. But don't get this mixed up. You need cash flow inside your business. So the first question is, what product and service did you create? And then, were you able to generate leads for that product and service? And then, are you able to make sales for that product and service? And so, what I want you to do is really sit down today and ask yourself, okay, what are all the things? Write down a list of all the things you're doing for your business. Write down content. Are you emailing? Are you posting on Facebook? Are you messaging people? Because here's the truth. The truth is, if you're messaging individual people on Facebook, that might work at the start when you have a lot of time, but when you're running 150 clients and you're selling people and you have staff, your highest activity won't go off to individually messaging your Facebook friends. And I know this strategy and I like it. It's a hustle strategy. It's such a bootstrapping strategy when you have no money. I love it for that. But do that for a week and then pull yourself out. So give yourself some goals. If you have to message people, message them for a week and then get out of there. And then start focusing on the big things. Because, give yourself a week to get 5 clients, then use that money from the 5 clients you spent to run advertising to get leads, and then try to convert those leads. Okay, so what I want you to do, and why I'm telling you this is because I'm giving myself, I'll listen to what I say at the end, of course. It's very hypocritical if I don't, but I'm going to go and do a complete overhaul of my tasks every single day to make sure that I'm constantly focusing on the highest performing tasks. Because the truth be told, whatever you focus on now, you shouldn't be focusing on in a month or 2 months, right? Your focus should always be changing, because if you're growing, you should be focusing on different things to achieve more growth. Because at the start, you might start out hustling and messaging 5 people inside your Facebook group. But the next month, you're going to stop doing that because now you've got clients, you've got leads. Your focus should be on advertising. Okay, the next month, you should be doing that. You shouldn't be doing the selling anymore. So you should be focusing on outsourcing that selling, getting someone in, paying them 20% to make sales. That's a really, really cool concept that I'll talk to you about. But the whole key point is that I see this time and time again, only because I see it in myself and I've done this and I run this pattern, I run this habit of doing everything. And so when I'm doing the same task inside my business, that business isn't growing. That's the truth. When you are running and doing the same task every single day in your business isn't growing. Every single month, every single week, you should be doing something slightly different. You should be focusing on a different strategy, and you should have someone else or something else come in, whether it's automation, whether it's people coming to take that place of what you did. And that's how your business will grow. So today is really thinking about the highest performing tasks that you can be doing to grow your business. Are you doing the squat? If you had 10 minutes to work on your business a day, what would you do? What would you do? All right. No, maybe it's 30 minutes. But if I know that if I had 10 minutes to do a workout, I would be pumping squats nonstop and I would just rep them out and I'd do deadlifts until I was gone. And that would probably be the best workout than if I had an hour. So what happens is we have this thing called time, and it's amazing. But when you have too much time, you're going to find tasks to basically fill up that time, and you're just going to become busy. So what I want you to do is stop being busy and start being more productive. And how you do that is you need to understand what are the tasks you're doing. And then once you've listed all the tasks down, from a level of 1 to 10, you're going to write down how important was that to grow your business. Grow your business, meaning get more leads, make more sales, and help your clients. How important was that? And if you dropped it off, if you scraped it off and you didn't do it anymore, would that affect your business? So in one column, you'll put 0 to 10, and the next column, could you scrape it off? Yes or no? If that was to disappear, if you didn't do that anymore, would that affect your business? And what you'll find is that 70%, 80% of the tasks were useless, because now we start to use that 80-20 rule and do this, and I'll do this, and I'll post up my results. But I know from previous experiences that I've been able to wipe off even 90% of the tasks and just focus on the 10%. So today, it's getting a fresh overhaul, starting to change things up, because if you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, you've gotten yourself into this pattern, this habit, and you love comfort. We all love comfort, right? It's the best. But we know that we love it, but it's miserable. It's miserable because we don't grow and we get frustrated, right? But we love it because it's just so warm and comfortable. And I know you can relate to this, because I'm feeling my comfort zone, and then I'm going, okay, well, when I get that spreadsheet down and I have to wipe out 90% of my tasks, I know I'm going to grow. So I want you to do that with your tasks. And I want you to comment inside the Facebook group. I want you to write a review. What are you going to do that's ripping away 90% of the tasks that you're doing, so that you can focus on the 10%, put all your energy in? That way you'll free up more time. And then of course, just because you've freed up more time, you need to start thinking strategically how you can use that time more effectively, because if you don't, remember what I said about time, you're going to find some tasks to put in there to fill it up, because time is one of those things where everyone's busy, and billionaires are busy, but I know that they're making $1 billion. They've got astronomical income, and they're thinking at a much more higher strategic level, and they're only focusing on the highest performing tasks for their time. And that's what you should do as well if you want to achieve that success. But you have to start thinking differently. Okay. So if you like this podcast, and if you're going to let me know what you do, leave a review, okay? And if you really like this podcast, please share it with a friend, a colleague, a personal trainer, a coach that you know is going to benefit from this, because you're going to keep yourself accountable. So send this to them and tell them what you're going to do, and send the spreadsheet to them and tell them to send their spreadsheet to you, okay? I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Alright, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes, and feel free to leave a review, and that way I can respond and I can take that on board in developing content to serve you. Now, if you're not a part of the Online Trainers Club on Facebook, please do yourself a favor and be a part of the conversation. That's where I add daily tips, tricks, and strategies on how you can build out funnels, how you can get more clients, and ultimately become a better online coach. Thank you for listening.